right? Okay, they calculated margin incorrectly too. For some reason, it seems to be a baffling concept to some people. But that was about it. They're like, well, I sold $40 million last quarter. Great. How much money did we make? Well, I don't know. So one, we had to go clean up our
Yeah.
process. Yeah, very similar to this company here, where we had to truly understand what costs were applied to this, because it really wasn't all that clean. So we had to, and this was more the CEO working on this. I'm not going to sit here and say it was me, but he obviously used my assistance, and we cleaned up the costing such that we knew really what everything cost, with every aspect, with every step in the process, not just buying it, but we had to, pay for it to get there. Sometimes we had to ship it from Europe. Sometimes we had to ship it from, company 10 miles away. What that cost, what it
Mm.
cost to process this, what it cost to put it on the shelves, what it cost to pick it, what it cost to like repackage it. Understood all that, and then put those costs into the system such that when a buyer was making a decision what to buy, they could see that it wasn't just, well, I bought it for $10 and I can sell it for $20, so I make 10. No, 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 no. You have $8 in complexity that we have to logistical costs, so we're really making $2. So maybe you need to
Yeah.
price it at $25. So a lot of what we did was okay, guys, let's focus on, we all know what revenue is. We can all add. Know what the margin is. We got that. Inventory turnover. That was a tough concept. Not a complex one for most people in business, but it was hard for them to really understand how that worked. And then we said, okay, guys, we're going to institute another metric called gross margin return on investment. Really is just a function of your
Mhm.
gross margin and a function of your inventory. And we're just going to create a simple one. We're not going to make this some complex formula that you can't do it. Just take the two numbers, multiply them together. We're going to go with that. And here's the threshold. Anything under that threshold better have a reason for being in this assortment. Because you know what? Yes, we're an
Yeah.
e-commerce business. Theoretically, we can have 1,000,000 products online, right? But we can't really have 1,000,000
Yeah.
products here. And we went through this, and this was months, getting these people on board, and and they're having to justify, why do I have this? And oh my gosh, this is moving slowly. This is moving too slowly, and it forced them, hey, I need to do something. I need to, the simplest thing was reduce price. But we would always say, yeah, that's the simplest. I can get anybody to come in here and reduce the price. How do you market it differently? Maybe you put it to the top of the page. Maybe you rewrite the description. Maybe you get a better image. Maybe you tell a better story about it. Because it's not a pair of underwear where people just go, I need some blue underwear, pink underwear, and buy it. They need to
Yeah.
understand what this is. Why does this thing cost $10 more than something that looks very similar to it? Why? And
Yeah.
that's what we would push with these guys. But those are, to me, the main metrics. But we would also, in working with our business analytics team, I'd sit there and say, okay, guys, you're not going to really sell product if nobody comes to the website and finds your product, or they get bored. So we would look at how many people come and look at that page on the website. How many people actually buy it? How long are people on your page? Are they interacting with it? Or are they just on there, see a price, and jump off it? And we found that there were people who would write longer descriptions, and we kind of optimized and said, okay, you've written one that's 4 paragraphs long. Read it. Okay, it took me a minute and a half. And we found out like very few people would spend a minute and a half on the site. So it's like, well, clearly that's far too much information. No one's reading them.
Yeah.
So let's shorten it down. Let's try to keep it within 2 paragraphs. Let's opening paragraphs, 5 bullets, closing paragraph, boom, done. Another tab to show specifications. How do we get these people onto that page and to buy things? How do we work with the digital marketing folks to say, hey, look, who came and visited, who somebody who put something in a shopping cart but didn't close out their purchase. How do we get them back into the fold? How do we send them an email say, hey, look, I noticed it's still in your shopping basket. How do we get that? How do we conduct that transaction?
Yeah.
So, there was a number of KPIs, but again, mostly sales, inventory driven. The digital marketing stuff, the clicks and the lifetime values. Those were really, the clicks were certainly at a SKU level, but the lifetime values, the site visits, those were, at a more macro level. So those were really handled by like the digital marketing team. We certainly played a part in it. We would obviously have to have the products, the right products, the right pricing, the right stories, and so on and so forth.
Okay, great. And then you team with the business development group to open storefronts on both Amazon.com and Walmart.com. So I would like to know that, what were your specific efforts towards, the opening of these storefronts?
Well, when I got there, we had just opened up. We're on eBay, and
Okay.
we got into eBay because eBay was people would sell coins on eBay, and they get it, and there'd be counterfeits and things like that. And most people don't counterfeit silver because it's just not worth it. People counterfeit gold all day long, and
Yeah.
sometimes it would even say this is not gold, and people would be like, "Oh, I'm upset." So they wanted to get somebody who was a leader in the industry. That would have been us. So we came onto Amazon, or excuse me, eBay, and began selling. I think we had like 50 core products, maybe 150. It wasn't a whole lot, but it was mostly deals. We would work. We'd say,
Mhm.
"Oh, we're going to offer this," but it wasn't like anything that great, right? It was like because they're eBay, you got to pay this fee and the PayPal fee and all this other fee. Some people were like, "I'd rather go buy it on Amazon." So eBay quickly realized I need to help subsidize these deals. Okay, so I'm going to give you money at Mex, so you can go out and put a really sharp deal on there that nobody can beat, right? It's going to be very enticing to
Yeah.
people, and so you'll make some money. You won't make as much money as you normally do, but you're going to make a lot of money. But what I
Mhm.
get being eBay is that I get a list of people who have no problem coming in and spending $10,000, $20,000 on my website, which is great because I don't know, maybe you have spent $20,000 on eBay. I certainly never have. So they get this list of
Yeah.
people. So it's extraordinarily important to them. And the other people have asked, well, wouldn't you guys lose customers to people for like eBay? Yes, absolutely. And we did deep studies that really for every 100 customers, and I'm making the numbers a little wrong, but they're directionally accurate. For every 100 transactions, we'd lose about 9 customers, but we'd gain
Mhm.
about 7.5. So it was about a
Yeah.
net of about a customer and a half, which isn't great. Nobody wants to lose any customers. But we also knew that there's a lifetime value for these people. People don't stay in this industry forever. They don't. There's very few people collect silver when they're 21 and still collecting it when they're 81. They just don't. They get in, they buy a bunch, they get bored, they move on to something else. So we were fine with it because we were bringing in 160, 170 million dollars a year from this
Yeah.
business. And everything I understood from eBay was that we were the biggest seller on eBay. Now it certainly helped it. We got gold and silver, and it's expensive stuff, but very, very
Yeah.
large. So based on that, Amazon reached out and hey, I want to do it with you guys. And that was a different model. They don't subsidize. So it's not as profitable to be on Amazon. And in fact, it's a bit of a pain in the neck and it's not as dynamic, but we're on there. And Walmart, the same thing. You can go buy AppMex product on Walmart. Again, I personally, it seems very odd, but you're a buyer at Walmart. You're like, I want this. We made it happen. So those
Yeah.
businesses, at least when I was there, were not large. Couple $1,000,000. They were fine, but nothing phenomenal.
Okay. Okay, great. And then collaborated with marketing VP to co-own online brand initiatives. And so there you mentioned that your team worked with, they provided their expertise in products while they executed the strategy. So how did your team's expertise in products help improve the branding initiatives?
Okay, so we're branding Amex, right? And what is
Yeah.
Amex? Amex is just a collection of coins from something else, right? So
Okay.
the digital marketing team has no concept of what these coins are. It could be anything. It could be a bolt. It could be a pair of scissors. It could be a coin. So it was up to us to sit there and say, these are the aspects that we need to focus on. It isn't just price driven. Sometimes, you know, if you're ordering or you're buying just bullion, which is the rawest form, it's price driven. If you're buying a collectible or what they call a numismatic coin, where a lot of the value is in the rarity or, it's not in the metal itself. These things need stories behind it, right? They need,
Yeah.
something, a compelling reason to come in and buy. That's where we would come in. And we would focus these people into certain areas saying, because we had, over the course of the year, we had 22,000 different items. I mean, it's hard to say this is what my brand's about. At least you're saying it's about everything. Okay, but that wasn't our
Yeah.
strategy. Our strategy was about, hey, look, we're very focused. But at the same time, we also bring things in that you've never seen before. But we treat you. It's not a luxury per se, but we treat you as though it is. We send your products to you in such a way that you don't just open it up and it just falls out of an envelope. It's presented properly, and we spend a tremendous. Our owner this is really his, passion is presenting this. So when people opened it up, they had that wow moment, like, wow, that's great, that's amazing.
Yeah.
There was branding on the packaging, and there was, we would take a coin that anyone else would sell, and they'd put it in a little plastic container, and they'd throw it to you. We would put it in a special plastic container, and they would have this art card with our name on it, and it would tell you about the coin, and and we would upcharge for it because we took it specifically right from the box into this, and it was never touched by human hands, or they had white gloves on and all this stuff. And so it was about an experience. It was borderline luxury, and that was the branding that we helped convey, through the digital marketing, through the marketing efforts and the promotions. It was high class. And you go to some other sites, and it's like, yeah, they kind of slam some stuff together, and people have gotten a lot better. And this, I'm talking about 4 or 5 years ago, we were far and away. Everyone copies APMEX now. I mean, they go, these guys are the best, let me go copy them.
Okay. Okay, perfect. And so I think the rest of the information is understandable. So anything else from this role then?
No, I mean, what I would say, just kind of in summary, is it's a highly complex business. I mean, yes, you're just selling coins online, but I mean, it's not just buying it and pricing it. You got to buy it back. You got multiple tiers, extraordinarily dynamic. Pricing is changing every minute. The spot price of gold is going up, down, and our prices change with it, right? In lockstep with it. So as as world events happen, whether it was when Brexit was voted through, or Trump was elected, or whatever it is, or if there was conflicts in Asia or whatever it was, the price of silver, metals would go up, down, sideways, and we were all over it. Our people would stay up at night altering pricing, because as people are starting to fear, oh my gosh, the world's coming to an end. They buy more gold. The demand, our inventory goes down. We got to price it higher to slow it down. You're trying to optimize. So it's all about, it's a massive optimization game that was done by hand. And it sounds incredibly naive to think, why would you do it by hand? The owner of our company felt more comfortable having human eyes on it than allowing a system. Because if a system went haywire, and we're all of a sudden in the middle of the night, we're selling gold for below the value of gold, we could wake up in the morning